My name is Bob. I'm a beekeeper, and I'm harboring a secret. Beekeepers, beware of the stuff. What happens when you start keeping bees is you start collecting additional things in order to be able to maintain the bee yard. I've got a swarm box, and there's people that I know easily have over 20 of these things. I have honey supers. Oh, honey supers. I have quilt boxes. I have a nuke hive just in case I need one in an emergency. I've got the boxes my honeybees came in, and a whole box of, I have no idea what any of this is down here. That's just the stuff. Now, I store it all in my basement. There's other people that, of course, store it in their garage. And there's other people that end up having a custom-built pole barn. Well, keeping bees is just a gateway to actually doing other things. For example, keeping chickens. That's right, I have 11 of them. And then February, when there's really not a whole lot to do, what do you start thinking about? Making maple syrup. Yes, so you end up having to get evaporator pans, buckets and buckets to collect all the sap in order to be able to make the maple syrup. And of course, all these lovely jars to put the maple syrup in, along with all the honey. Jars and jars and jars. And of course, you end up having to store them in your basement, or you store them in the garage, or you end up getting a custom-built pole barn. Well, of course, sometime in the year, you end up having to harvest the honey. Of course, this is what I use. There's also extractors. Well, what occurs is you also end up with a whole bunch of beeswax. Well, with that beeswax, of course, what you end up doing is making candles, or you end up making soap. And then, of course, there's more than just that, because you can also make mead. And with mead, of course, that's wonderful to drink, but you also end up having friends that give you stuff with bees on it. Not just one, but multiples of bee things that you end up having to store in your basement, or in your garage, or in your custom-built pole barn. Of course, when you start taking bees, they tell you that to go buy paint, to paint your hives. So at home, or Depot, or Lowe's. Well, you end up going and you buy a gallon of paint, but next to it is another color that you also think would be absolutely great. So you end up having to buy another color. And then you end up going the next week and there's another color there that you don't have that you really think the bees would really, really like. So you end up picking up another gallon of paint. And now you have enough paint to paint hundreds of beehives. So my word of caution is you need room for all this bee stuff. Maybe even a custom-built pole barn.